Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, welcome to Sox on Tap.
Tony, my first reaction is just, fuck yes, let's go.
Sox versus the Twins. That's where it all starts. Because it all starts taking care of business in-house in the Central Division.
That's right, I'm a meatball.
You got to bring that top button swag, baby.
It is always great to beat the Cubs.
And I'm a homer, so I always say they're gonna.
Dallas Keuchel Lansing got some beards that you should be afraid of.
What everybody said when he gets out there, it's me versus the other guy, and I'm going to beat him. So I just love that mentality. It's cool and fucking tough.
Steve, would you say that Tony is mad online?
I would definitely say that.
The White Sox winner.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, welcome to Sox on Tap. I'm your boy Buzz. I'm joined by my dude Johnny Nani, and we are here to recap the White Sox loss to the Cincinnati Reds 1-0. Before we do that, be sure you're going to ontapsportsnet.com for all your Chicago sports literature and podcasting needs. Following us on Twitter at Sox on Tap, at OnTapSportsNet. Following Johnny at Nani Johnny, and me at Buzz on Tap. Anywhere you can listen to podcasts, you can listen to us, 5-star rating and review, because that's cool and tough. And if you want some awesome White Sox apparel, any Chicago sports apparel, really, you should go to Grandstand. If you're out at the ballpark, stop by Grandstand, follow them on socials at Grandstand Sox, or go to grandstandsox.com for any Chicago White Sox apparel you may need. Johnny, this one is nuts. How you feeling?
Dude, so the loss obviously it makes me feel disappointed, and there are obviously factors that bled into this, which we'll get into all of that. But overall, I haven't been on the mic since the news of the Luis Robert injury, so my soul is just a little bit crushed, Buzz. I just feel more down in the dumps than normal. Like, you just going into the day, like knowing that there's going to be no Luis Robert for 12 to 16 weeks, and Eloy Jimenez on a similar timeline. It sucks. So I want wins to pull me out. Tuesday night was good, and I know that's great. I love that. That made me feel a little better, but right now it just crushes your soul even more. That's where I'm at.
Well, there's a good thing about that is we do, you brought up last night's 9-0 victory. We have victory beers. When we lose, we have the Sea of Sorrow beers. So that's where I'm at right now. I just cracked one, crack them.
Sea of sorrow, misery, whatever you want to call it. It's drowning your sorrows, no matter what it is.
100%.
After a loss.
Yeah. You know what, dude? Like last night, I wasn't on the mic either. And, they 9-0 victory. Awesome game. You come into an early game today starting at 11:30, which thank you, because it gave me something to do at work, instead of actually working.
Yeah.
Turn the game on, start watching it. Offense stagnant. Dallas Keuchel struggled a little bit there in the first couple innings, was getting his pitch count up, completely rebounded. As soon as I put that tweet out, I think he looked at his Twitter and he saw that I called for Kopech to be the long reliever of the game. And then he just completely picks it up. But both offenses, Johnny, very stagnant. And for Cincinnati, they only scored one run in the 2-game series here.
Yeah.
2-game set, only one run. So I can't be upset about that.
Yeah, no. That's like a positive, because that's the thing. We need to sit here and, it's going to be, kind of negative in a down in the dumps kind of reaction to what eventually culminated in the 10th inning here. But we do need to step back and I think look at some both positives and negatives. And one of the positives here is the White Sox pitching staff. Pretty damn solid here. I need to give a shout out to Steve-O from the Sons of Anarchy podcast. And it's very simple, but double play Dallas, and he came up with some clutch ones here, and obviously that's what he's known for inducing the ground balls, and he was able to do that in some big spots. Had another positive, so some pretty solid defense overall, I would say, throughout the series. So obviously had one error last night, but today pretty spotless here. One error today, but there were some other plays that Jose made nice stretches on different balls, and at the turn, even though the throw is a little wide for him. So there were some positives here, but obviously the end result not so good.
Something I saw today too, which was really cool. I was actually on Baseball Reference messing around, just looking at stats and whatnot, and it was actually tweeted out. God damn it, I can't remember who beat me to the tweet, but they beat me to it. But it was Tim Anderson does not have an error, I think, in the last 65 opportunities or something like that he's had. I just know that he doesn't have an error. I thought it was super cool. I'm gonna look that up so I don't sound like a complete jag off. But I tried doing it off of memory, and then I remember I'm old and I feel like shit all the time. I can't fucking remember. But yeah, so getting into the game, Johnny, I felt like the Sox struggled against Sonny Gray and his breaking stuff. And Len and Jason just kept pointing it out, how on point it was. I
Mhm.
mean, he was locating the ball. He was able to do what he wanted with it. He was fooling batters. He played a really great game, even though he didn't come into the day with the great ERA. He did end up lowering it to a 3.92 ERA after he played today, but he had some good shit that had the Sox batters just baffled.
I don't think it's his top line, but look at a guy like Lucas Giolito for the White Sox. His ERA is not indicative of what his skill set is so far this season. Same with Dallas Keuchel coming into this. I know you can make an argument for Keuchel regression, getting lucky at some points, and yada, yada, yada. That's all out there. But either way, those guys last year, top of the line, receiving Cy Young votes there, not Sonny Gray. But talk about those guys and then coming back down, coming to life. Unfortunately, it was against the White Sox for Sonny Gray, his kind of feel it out game.
Right. Absolutely. I absolutely agree with that. And then, again, even with Dallas, touching on him one more time here, like he goes 95 pitches today, 7 innings. He let up 2 hits. He walked 3, right? Only 1 strikeout, but he was very effective. I think that, could you say this was his best outing of the season?
Yeah, just when you look at terms of results there, not getting touched up, in other games he has slipped for a little bit and then found a groove. And then that's like you said, it wasn't extremely clean to start, but he found it and it, worked out well for him going 7. That's pretty damn good, especially after, kind of the ramp up time. He was a couple weeks back behind the other pitchers coming out of spring training in terms of having starts under his belt for ramping up. So I would say that the way that he settled in, this can qualify as probably his best outing this year, Buzz.
Yeah, absolutely. And then we get into the bats for the team. And obviously,
2 hits, man.
Yeah, we usually run down inning by inning of what kind of happened. But in this one, it's just so difficult to do because the only guys that recorded hits for the White Sox today were Tim Anderson. He went 1 for 4, and Nick Madrigal, who went 1 for 4. That's it. No one else recorded any hits.
Yeah, and you got, the walks, that's nice. Grandal draws 3 today. Abreu had 1 as well. But you got to have more than that. You got to have hits. You got to start stringing them together, and it sucks. I always hate this term because it's like, oh, yeah, you want to pile on as much as possible. You never know what can happen in late innings. But it feels like after a game like this, we score 9 in one game and then none in the next. It's like, couldn't we have saved a couple for today?
Right. And I do. I found the stat, Johnny. So 18 games for Timmy this year, right? Because, he missed some time with the injury or whatever, 152 innings in the field, whatever. No errors for Tim Anderson.
Yeah.
So that's freaking cool and tough.
Yeah, absolutely. He's becoming a well-rounded ball player. That's what that tells you.
Yeah, you see him get better every year. It's amazing. Yeah, and the Grandal walking thing, he's been taking a ton of scrutiny this year, just because he's not producing at the plate. But he did walk 3 times today, and he raises that on base percentage to 363, Johnny, even though he's batting 121.
Yeah, it's been well documented, the struggles of Yasmani Grandal, and it's very frustrating for the money that you're paying him. I agree 100%, and I'm a Yaz backer. I'm a Yaz man. I love him. I love the guy, and I think that he will break out of this funk, so I do believe in him, but it is nice to see that he can still sustain at least some level of value at the plate there. 3 walks today. That's 3 of your, 4? 3 outside of the hits and Abreu's walk. He equaled the amount of base runners there today. So
right, that's kind of unreal, actually. So yeah, I guess we got to move on into it, man. So we get into the top of the 9th. We don't make anything happen, right? Kopech comes in. It was in the 8th, and then he was in for the 9th for a little bit too. He has 4 strikeouts on the night, or on the day. I'm sorry, not on the night. I keep saying the nights because usually we can play it at night. But he also walks 4. He did let up 1 hit. Liam Hendricks comes in to relieve him, and we get out of the bottom of the 9th, bases loaded. Hendricks gets us out of it to a ground ball to Makata. Now we move into the 10th with my favorite fucking rule in all of baseball. God. Go ahead. Yeah, right. Go ahead and just start a runner on second base. I don't care what anybody says. That rule pisses me off. Does it piss you off like me?
It's my personal opinion. So people can outline the benefits, and that's their opinion. I just don't like it. I would like the game to be completed to its finish, as it has been for so many years. And I understand there were health and safety protocols in place last year. I was hoping that was a 1-year thing, but unfortunately, looks like we're getting tabbed with this. And then, you go other places and people just hate the length of the game being long. Well, guess what? I'd rather have a fucking 5-hour game than sit here and, this one, obviously we're going to talk about the mistakes mistakes that led to this, and surely some self-inflicted wounds here. So I'm not relieving that, but just as a general rule, I'd rather see the game played to completion. That's just me, my personal baseball opinion.
I don't know, Johnny, if it's like that. I hate change or whatever you might want to say. I cannot stand it, and it drives me nuts because I just it's been the way I've watched baseball forever, you know.
And it's just the given. Then you just it's a given. It's not earned, you know. Like, and I understand that it doesn't like count towards a pitcher's earned run. Then if there we go, White Sox 2020, the extra inning rule is created for people who hate baseball. I think Buzz and I are in the same camp there, and I think Tony would share. And I think NWA Steve, I don't know, I'd have to get his further take on that, but it doesn't seem very popular among a lot of circles. So glad you're in agreement there with us. But it's just. It's given. I know it doesn't count towards then pitchers' earned runs or whatever, but I don't give a shit about stats. I give a shit about wins and losses for my team, you know?
Right. I absolutely agree with that. So we get to the top of the 10th, Johnny, and this is where a lot of backlash is coming in right now. And rightfully so, right? So like he has Liam Hendricks on second base. Now this is not, and I want to point this out, this is not the reason they lost the game. I'm going to blame the offense as well. So I'm not just like piling it on Tony La Russa.
Yeah. Multiple factors, but builds up.
Right. But he starts Liam Hendricks on second base, and kind of fast forwarding through, you know, Grandal will take a walk. Lurie Garcia grounds in.
Force out.
Yeah, to a force out. Grandal goes to third. Hendricks goes to third. Or I'm sorry, Grandal's out at second. Hendricks goes to third. This is a call that drives me absolutely nuts. So you just got an out with Lurie grounding out to get Grandal, and he's at first, and we send him. And he had the green light from Tony, so that was not because I made sure I looked before I brought this shit up.
Yeah.
He had the green light. They wanted to be aggressive. Motherfucker, you had a runner on first and third.
Mm-hmm.
Why? Just, you know, I know it's Billy Hamilton coming up, and like, are you trying to just get out of the double play? And I'll be honest, we both know here, Billy Hamilton's pretty fucking speedy. Like maybe he has a chance to beat the damn thing out. Like
even if he grounds into the force, you're right. He has a chance to beat that out, and then your run scores. Like that's the route I would have gone. I understand, like, you know, we want to be aggressive. That's our thing. We want to push the tempo here and all that. Well, guess what? Take a look at the situation that was today, Buzz. Two hits on the day. You're not doing too much of anything. When you do have that situation, then a first and third, I would not piss it away by trying to be aggressive. You know what? If he does ground into the double play, yes, it sucks. But you know what? I would live with those chances because Billy Hamilton's fast and has a potential to beat it out. That's my personal opinion on it. That's me.
We're agreeing a lot, but I 100% agree with you on that.
I just wouldn't piss it away. That's all.
Right.
When there's so few and far between, it might be different if you're in a groove and the whole team's like, it's a fucking barn burner game and we've been going all game and you're like really like feeling confident about it and whatever. But I don't know. It pissed me off that we, you know, kind of just threw it away with that call to be aggressive there. That's just my take.
And within the call of being aggressive, like, that's why I don't want to leave this just yet, is they were waiting for it. They like knew what was going to happen. It was a high fastball. Catcher didn't fucking even hesitate.
Yep.
He knew it was coming, Johnny.
Yeah.
And like, that's why I'm saying, like, I get you want to be aggressive and stuff, but realize the situation at hand here. Realize the situation. Stevenson is waiting for him to run. You know what I'm saying? Like, Cincy is waiting for him to run. That's why they went with the high fastball that was outside, high and outside. He can gather himself and throw the runner out, and that's exactly what happened. And then you just pissed away an opportunity with a guy in Billy Hamilton. And I'm not trying to hate on Billy. He's decent in the fucking field, all right? But we all know he doesn't hit the ball hard. He doesn't really hit the ball. You know, he's 136 with a 208 on-base percentage. And they end up striking him out, Johnny. And that is where a lot of my outrage is, even more than the Tony La Russa having Hendricks at second. And again, once we get into the last the bottom of the inning here, we'll get into that little press conference that he had. But that's why I'm so outraged. Is like there's two major questionable calls in the 10th that really hampered us.
Yeah, I just say I hate the steal call. I think that's what sums it up, and then it sucks. When you see a guy like Billy Hamilton, you just feel hopeless. Then after that, because obviously he did what he did and he struck out, so I think that was expected. And unfortunately, the way it played out in the bottom of the 10th, goes against the White Sox here. But touch on the rule here, because this is something that a lot of people were unsure of coming into this, myself included. So please expand on the rule. Tell everybody what it is, so we can just clarify here on the Sox on Tap post game show.
Absolutely. So the rule, from what we understand and what should be known, is that when he didn't understand that it was a precedent, runner could have went before. So that would have been what was it? Because it was a double
spot
switch, right?
So the spot in the batting order, if the pitcher is the runner, who would be the last out spot, which was Hendrickson for the Vaughn spot there, the place in the order before that can take that spot if it is the pitcher. Which
would have been Jose Abreu.
Yes.
That's the rule. And just to read James Fagan, I almost gave his Twitter handle and said, which you can follow him at JR Fagan of The Athletic. He posted the rule for everybody to see online on Twitter. The runner placed on second base at the start of each half inning will be the player in the batting order immediately preceding that half inning's leadoff hitter or a pinch runner. However, if the player in the batting order immediately preceding that half inning's leadoff hitter is the pitcher, the runner placed on second base may be the player preceding the pitcher in the batting order. So with the rule, it tells you right there, it's plain as day. It didn't have to be Hendricks.
Mm-hmm.
Again, that's not what cost the Sox the game.
Yeah.
The outrage comes to me is the smugness of La Russa after the fact.
Yeah, just not knowing the rule. That's your job. Like you said, when we were gathering ourselves, Buzz, and you sent me the rule because I wanted to know too. And I'd said, well, shit, I didn't know that technicality on it before. And you're like, that's not your job. And I was like, yeah, that's a good point. That's not my job. It's
right.
totally La Russa's.
Yeah, it's not your job to know the rule. And then there's a lot of other scrutiny from what I was reading on Twitter and even listening to on 670, The Score on the way home, was that, wouldn't Cairo or Katz or somebody on the bench know that rule? Then, as the day progresses, Johnny, and more news starts to come out, it was said to them questioning Tony while the decision was made, and that he just did what he did. Now, I don't know how true that is. You and I aren't in the fucking dugout. Mm-hmm. I don't know. We're not in the clubhouse. I have no idea. But it is his job to know said rule.
Yeah.
And when you don't know that rule, it's like, okay, well, you went and what are you doing, man? I don't understand it in my head. I don't understand how you could be that ignorant to your job to not know that rule and then be smug with James Fagan after in the press conference and be like, oh, I guess you know the rule better than we do, or I do. Like, dude, what the fuck's the matter with you?
Yeah. Dude, it's like you said, I think the outcome here, this is not the, if Jose Abreu's there and they still fuck up with the Lurie thing and the, Billy Hamilton strikes out, but could it have been different? Maybe. And could you I feel like you're a little bit safer having a position player, even if it is Jose Abreu out there, than a pitcher, just for knowing situations better. Just putting at the end of the day, it is putting yourself in the best position to win. And I think that maybe that is something that could have affected, in a different way here. So I don't think it's the exact difference maker here, but it's just putting yourself in the best position to win. And I would trust, in my just opinion, I would trust a baseball position player rather than a pitcher, especially in the American League, who doesn't run often.
Right. I mean, we all know he's not a fucking barn burner on the base pass or anything, but it's still not your pitcher. And that's an issue that he does. It's not so much an issue because it didn't affect the outcome. It's more so, like I said, the issue of him not knowing the rule and him being smug about being questioned about the rule. Mm-hmm. That was just something that rubbed me the wrong way. Another thing where a lot of people are talking about is having Billy Hamilton in that situation.
Yeah, Adam Eaton.
Or Collins. And Eaton's a little banged up. Like they said, he's got a knee bruise or anything like that. So for the people that were questioning, they should have had Collins in and then Eaton could have replaced, Hamilton in the field or whatever. Yeah, absolutely. Is Eaton really fucking banged up though? Is that what it is?
Yeah.
Do they really want him to have those 2 off days or what? Because honestly, he just played last night. I know he's been struggling behind the plate. I get it. Or at the plate. I get it. But at the end of the day,
it's a better bat.
Yeah, he's a better bat and you want dubs. Yeah. And especially in a chance when you had an opportunity, depending on what happens with Kansas City, to take sole possession of first place.
Yeah. So I think you have to play for that time right there. I understand, like, mapping down the road, and especially when these games were, play until it's completion and no extra inning rule and all of that. You may be planning a little bit further down, like, oh, if we're going to play these extra innings, we're going to have to throw out, pitchers in the outfield or some shit like that, when you're playing in a National League stadium like that. But for this one, with this, it's immediate strike with this 10th inning rule here. I don't like it, but that's just what it is. So play to the rules and fucking play to win. That's my bottom line.
I'm with you on that. So then we get into the bottom of the 10th here. Senzel singles to left, Barnhart to third, and then Winker single to center. That scores Barnhart. Game over. So Sox end up losing off of Liam Hendricks there, which, and then you see all the $54 million hot takes. I get it, man. I understand it. I get it. But this game was just piss poor executed all around.
You'd like to think that just because you're paying a guy that much that it's just like immediate, like no, you don't even think twice about it. It's just lockdown, even with a guy starting on second base. You'd like to think that, but hey, give him credit because he did wiggle out of that 9th inning. So I think you can go back and this game could have been lost in the 9th. We could have not even gone to the 10th. If he's not able to induce that ground ball to the force out for Moncada for that last out in the 9th. So I'm not going to go and rail on Liam Hendricks too much here. That's just me though.
Yeah, no, I'm not either. And again, it's just the offense wasn't hot. The TLR hate is, I think, justified a bit, again, because of the smugness, because of some of the decisions that he makes. And I put out a tweet. I usually don't get like too fucking like I don't get too hot when it comes to Twitter just because I try to always keep a level head. Like I'll throw a fucking fit down here. I'll throw a pillow or
yeah.
I'll spin kick one of my kids or something. I'm just kidding. But it's just, again, the smugness rubbed me the wrong way.
Yeah.
And if you don't know the rule, and I've questioned this hire from the beginning, and I've been very consistent with that. Me and Steve talked about it on Monday when we did the Luis Robert injury show, which is just depressing to say out loud, really. But, I think that this is we can get into it in another episode. This is going to be like a one and done. It just seems like sometimes Tony thinks he knows so much, like that he fucking refuses to either adapt or understand things. And that's what pisses me off. It's my way or the highway. Like he really does believe like I'm a Hall of Famer. Fuck you, dude. I know what I'm doing. And obviously you didn't know a rule, which means you don't know what you're doing. And then the questionable decisions you made. Johnny, we're in a spot right now, missing Eloy and Luis Robert, where you cannot have decisions like that affect outcomes of games.
It's all under a microscope. It already was, and now it's even further. Zoom that bitch in. That's what just happened with that Luis Robert injury. That just turned that dial even further. So it's going to be under a microscope. And like you said, some definitely warranted criticism here that we've aired out. Going forward, this one, unfortunately, it's a loss, but it's in the rear view. We have to move forward. We will be playing those Kansas City Royals, so that is an opportunity to take a lead over them because it will be head to head. I'm sure they have at least a game today and probably. I don't know. I have to look at their schedule and see if they have one tomorrow before the White Sox come into town there on Friday. But going forward, let's do a fucking coaching staff whole rundown of the rule book and make your little cheat sheet of, okay, this is a situation that we need to do like this and that. And like it sucks that it got to this point, Buzz. I agree with you. So it's not inexcusable. But going forward, this isn't going to be the last 10th inning game that you play. This isn't going to be the last extra inning game the White Sox play in 2021. And if they keep the rule around going forward in the future, either way, there's just be a general thing there, and Miguel Cairo can man it or whatever, since he's your bench coach sitting there on the bench, fucking have it up handy and be like, okay, so we can use this guy here, especially in a situation like this, which is a little quirky with the National League Stadium and the pitchers batting here.
Right. No, I definitely agree with you. Definitely a meeting needs to happen. And, I don't want to act like the world's burning down, and I try to like.
It's just Buzz. I think it's not. I think it's just more my thing is that it's under a more zoomed in microscope now. Everything.
Well, you're right, because think about like watching the MLB Network, brother. Like in the off season when we hired Tony La Russa, like we weren't really talking about, like, they were talking about the talent on the team, but what was more in focus? It was Tony La Russa coming out of retirement, all this stuff. So, and especially in today, Johnny, when you play an 11:30 game for everybody to see because you're the only baseball game going right now, it's 10 times more fucking looked at. Now it's 10 times more there. It's like right in front of your face, no matter what fan of what team you are. If you're a baseball fan, you knew what was going on. It's an early game. that's what people are going to be watching. And just for some shit like that to happen, it's just like, of course.
It's embarrassing. It's embarrassing.
Fucking embarrassing, Johnny.
Fucking embarrassing. Where's the garbage can? I need to kick it. Come on, bring it.
Remember when I did that last year during the Sox on Tap? I kicked the shit out of it. I don't know what happened to that one.
I'm so like scared to get up and get my garbage can because it's like about 5 feet to my left, but these headphones are probably only going to give, even if I take one out, only going to give like 3.5 feet. So I would definitely yank my microphone over and we'd be dealing with some technical difficulties here. So there you go. Give it a punt. Give it a punt, Buzz. Fucking embarrassing. There we go.
Embarrassing. Fucking embarrassing.
I think it's time to move on to this weekend, Buzz. Unfortunately, like I mentioned, it sucks to lose this one, but it is in the rear view now. There's the only way we can go is forward, and that's what the White Sox have to do: refocus and come out and, for the love of God, hit the ball this weekend against Kansas City. I know they have some starters who are figuring out. Duffy has been really solid, and I don't know that it's still TBD for Friday's matchup, so we don't know that who's going to be there. But they've had some guys, some young guys that are bringing it there. But either way, you just got to figure it out and hit the ball. I mean, that's the bottom line. 2 hits a day ain't getting the job done. Only few walks on top of that, 4 walks on top of that. That's just not, first of all, not enough runners on base, and then obviously not enough execution when guys are on base, since the only 2 guys that had hits were at the top of the order there. So the guys getting on were lower in the order, and Yasmani Grandal's 3 walks. So that's just got to change going forward. I mean, I don't know how else to say it, but if that's not like Little League coach here, hit the fucking ball.
Right. You got to fucking figure it out, okay, and get it done. So in what we were talking about before with Kansas City, they're currently in a 4-game set with Cleveland. Kansas City's lost 3 games in a row. Okay, they play tonight at 7:10, so I'll definitely be watching that. Good. It's very good. Okay, it's not bad. Okay, it's very good. Okay, and so they play at 7:10 tonight, and then they play at 1:10 tomorrow to close out the series. Then on Friday they have the White Sox, and that'll be a 7:10 p.m. start, and that's in Kansas City.
Yes.
And they have released, at least on ESPN, they have released the starters. So that'll be Brad Keller, who's 2-3 with an 8.06.
Timmy's licking his chops.
Oh, man, I can't wait. I want to see a bat flip so badly, bro.
Oh, in their park, too. Hell yeah.
Oh, my God. I'd be so stoked. He's gone 22 1/3. He's let up 36 hits on the season. He's only struck out 16. He's walked 12. He's let up 4 long balls. He's going up against Carlos Rodon. That's what it says on here.
Yeah.
I think that's wrong. I think that's wrong.
Think it's wrong?
Yeah, because when I looked earlier, I thought it was maybe it is Rodon, Lynn, and Giolito. Maybe that's what it is. I'll dig into it. But
MLB.com says Rodon as well. So
okay, so yeah, it should be Rodon then, because I know I saw Lynn and Giolito too as in a tweet earlier. But yeah, so Rodon's been fucking fire. I mean, the back end of our rotation's been pretty goddamn solid recently, all year really. Even Dylan Cease is fucking figuring it out. So pretty good. But Rodon's 4-0 with a .72 ERA. You heard me correctly. 25 innings pitched. He's only let up 7 hits. He struck out 36, walked 9, only 1 long ball off of him.
Those stats are so. I love hearing that. And for it couldn't happen to a better guy. And I'll eat all the shit in the world for what I said. I would have moved on and went with a more proven option this offseason. If I was playing, this is just me playing armchair GM, I would have done that because there's the injury history there too. Not saying injury should rule a guy out completely, but you wanted a little more stability going into competing season. So just keep making me eat my words, Los. I'll eat every single one of them that come back to me. I love it. I love being wrong, Buzz.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I've been a Los guy. I got his bobblehead sitting over here in the Buzz Cave. I love Carlos Rodon. I'm glad that it's working out for him. And if there's anybody, like I said, it's not like we're off track. Like the Sox are 6-4 in their last 10. Okay. It's not like we're off track. That's not what it is. But after today's performance, which you can't really fucking, blame the pitching because it was obviously pretty goddamn good. Yeah. 1 run in fucking 10 innings is pretty fucking good baseball. It's really good baseball. But having Carlos Rodon come out, hopefully these guys learn from this today, and they turn it around against Kansas City, who's sitting atop first place right now at 16-12. We'll see what happens with them tonight. Maybe they'll lose. Maybe the Sox will tie that. And if I'm not mistaken, Johnny, I'm looking it up now, but if the Indians win, they're also going to be 16-13. So if the Indians win tonight, it's going to be a 3-way tie for first place between the Royals, the White Sox, and the Indians. It's fucking crazy.
Yeah, it's wild. And I mean, I still have reservations about Kansas City. I don't know if they're built for the long term, but for right now, they're in it. So that's what you need to focus on. And we're focusing on this right now, this upcoming 3-game weekend set in Kansas City, White Sox Royals. So, you know what? Let them play out because, like you said, they have a game tonight. They have a game on Thursday afternoon. Let them play that out, whatever it may be. Chips on the table. White Sox will know their situation coming in. I know we're watching standings probably, a little bit closer, especially since it's the first time it's fun to do so for the White Sox in a while. Before outside, obviously last year too. But we'll be watching it close. They'll know what they'll have to do going in. So I just hope the proper adjustments are made, and I just want to see some string together of hits. And then first of all, more runs equals more fun, and then also it's a little momentum building in the clubhouse too. It's, they say hitting is contagious. I fully believe that. You can't quantify that. You can't go and fucking, part of that too can be on a pitcher that's having a bad day, whatever. I believe hitting is contagious just from playing youth baseball and high school baseball growing up. The boys are just buzzing in the dugout when you're stringing them together and getting things done. And even if you're not hitting the long ball, as long as you're manufacturing some runs along the way, I think it goes a long way for team confidence overall, Buzz. So that's what I want to see. Get that morale back up because it was obviously rolling on Tuesday night. Like that was good shit. 9. Like that's exactly what I'm talking about. It gets you rolling.
And even with the whole shitstorm that's brewing right now with everything that transpired today, we should take a step back and realize that the Cincinnati Reds have been one of the best offenses in not only the NL but the MLB. And we held them to 1 run in a 2-game set in their house. That feels good. I mean, it does. It sucks that we don't come away with the W today, but it does feel good. So I mean, I'm not worried about what our pitchers are doing outside of our concerns that we talked about Keuchel, and he had a great game today, and Giolito, who's going to figure it out. We know he will. He's going to be fine. Keep the bats consistent. That's what you need to do. And again, step up. And even though it hasn't been sexy with a home run or RBI doubles or whatever from Yaz, he's getting on base. And getting on base is better than fucking not. So, bring it into the Kansas City series, regroup, refocus, hit the goddamn ball, let Los do what he's been doing, and you're going to walk away with a W.
Yeah, so I need to end this with a meatball take, Buzz. My last little bit here that a meatball take, especially I haven't been on since the Robert injury occurred. So this is straight up meatball. Make a trade tomorrow. Get an outfielder, get a legitimate bat. Make a trade tomorrow. So first of all, we get some, production in this lineup and a bat that you feel good about there instead of Billy Hamilton and Larry Garcia all the time. So get that squared away so you fill a hole because you still need to be competitive. I know these guys, they're going to come back in August or September or whatever. You don't know exactly when that's going to be. You need to stay competitive until then. Make a fucking trade tomorrow. I don't give a shit. Send your prospects that from single A or whatever that people are, busting their nut over. Go and send some of them away and get a legitimate bat in here because this is win now mode. So that's my meatball take of the day to end Sox on Tap for me.
I don't really feel like it was such a meatball of a take, though.
Just fucking do it. Just do it tomorrow so we have him for Kansas City. That's
Brian Goodwin didn't do it for you, huh?
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, see, that's another thing. It's like whenever you kind of scout these guys out, and it's like, this could be a nice depth piece and whole placeholder, and fuck a placeholder. Let's just get a legitimate guy in here.
I had mentioned, of course, I mentioned Yasiel Puig because
I was naturally.
But I was even saying trying to trade for somebody, and it's very early in the season. Typically in the MLB, you don't see that. A lot of sports, you really don't see early movement. Not even in the NBA, you don't really see that until trade deadline hits. And same with football, which is fucking just terrible with the trade deadline, trade during the season, regardless. But I told Steve, I'm like, you have to be aggressive, and even if you can only land a right fielder, because I think he brought up Gallo, and I was like, I'll fucking move Eaton to center. I was like, think outside the box. I know he didn't do great in 15 over there, but still, why not try something just to bolster up your lineup a tad bit here? Yeah, because at the end of your lineup, it's not so sexy anymore when you don't have Luis Robert in it, and you don't have Eloy's obviously hasn't been here all year, and you're looking at your 8 and 9 because Madrigal's moved up now. Since Luis Robert's been hurt, you're looking at 8 and 9 being Lurie and Billy Hamilton, or maybe Mendick or something, and you're just kind of shit,
It doesn't strike as much fear with Luis Robert. Obviously, Eloy's a big bat to lose, no doubt about that. I think Tony said, you're missing arguably your best bat from the lineup back when that happened. But, we knew that coming in the season, so we're like, okay, we can ride this out. And they, played okay April, not shitting on that. But, when you lose Luis Robert here, and we're only a couple games into this, loss of here, I think you're going to feel it more down the stretch. And unfortunately, you're going to have some more of these games if you don't make a move sooner rather than later. So I would say, fuck the norms. This is not normal. Because first of all, COVID makes it irregular season. And second of all, the injuries that have piled up already this early. Usually you'd I feel like, I don't know, if you're doing that, sometimes they kind of conveniently strike, if that's a weird way to say, closer to the trade deadline after guys maybe got a little worn out or did, overextended a little bit in like the dog days when you're getting into them in like mid-June or something like that. So it makes more sense because you're closer to the trade deadline. Fuck it. It happened now. Just fucking pull the trigger, do it. Rickon, get it done. And then you, the analytics guys and the coaching staff all work together, figure out how the fuck to get him on the field, but let's get some more pop in this lineup. Meatball take, done. That's all I've got for this show, Buzz.
100% agree. You got to pick to click, man.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Yeah, we need picks to click. I'll go with Nicky Madrigal. That guy, he was one of the two that got a hit today. I know Timmy did too. But it's been a little bit since I've been on here, and Nick Madrigal such a consistent one. I feel like I can hit right away when I come back on that with him. So I'll go with Madrigal.
Did you tweet out our picks to click today?
I did not. I was
good. Because remember, I took Billy Hamilton. So
yikes! Yeah, that's probably a good one to not. Yeah, I was tied up before, and I was like, oh shit! The 11:30 start crept up on me too. I'm like editing something, and I go and look, and it's like, oh well, shit! The first pitch just happened like 5 minutes ago, so I'm a little late on this. But all right.
Well, thank you for not doing that. I appreciate it. I'm going to take Tim Anderson because he was the other guy that had a hit today, and it's Brad Keller, and I want to see a
Brad Keller.
Yeah, I want to see a bat flip, and I want to see Keller get all butt hurt again. So that's,
yeah. I mean, see Salvi try to be a big man behind the plate too, and it's like
I'd love to see it because I would love to see Yerman Mercedes come up there when he's trying to be a tough guy and just fuck.
yes, we need that, dude. We need a heavyweight bout between Salvi Perez and Yerman Mercedes. I'd love to see that. That'd be great. Some baseball UFC crossover, some shit like that. So
put my money on Yermin.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. The tank Yerminator you can't fucking move that guy.
Hell nah. All right. Well, that's all I got. Is that all you got, man?
Yeah, that's it, man.
All right. Well, everybody be sure to go on tapsportsnet.com for all your Chicago sports literature and podcasting needs. Following us on Twitter at Sox on Tap, at On Tap Sportsnet. 5-star rating and review anywhere you can listen to podcasts because you can listen to us there. Check out Grandstand. Follow them on socials, Grandstand Sox, grandstandsox.com. And if you're by the ballpark, go to Grandstand. Go buy yourself a cool-ass White Sox jersey, hat, shirt, whatever you need, they got at Grandstand. White Sox forever.
White Sox forever.